Hi, everybody. I'm Dwayne Glanton, and I am a Christian, and I believe that the Lord Jesus Christ died for my sins, and He's coming back again. And um, if I do the right things in serving Him, I will get to spend eternity with Him. Now, with that being said, I believe that that the Lord has given me a revelation to share that will help us all to understand Him better. So, and it's to me this is mind blowing because it answers a lot of questions that I had. But the Lord sets things on this earth so that we can better understand Him. I'll give you an example. So He has made marriage on the earth because He says we're going to marry Him. If He just told us we were going to marry Him without having marriage on the earth, we wouldn't understand that. But because we have marriage, when He says we're going to marry Him in the feast and have a feast, it makes sense. He says, "You are my child." If we had no children on the earth, that wouldn't make any sense. So He makes us to have children so we can understand what a father is, what a child is, and how we are going to be in relationship with Him. He set up all these things around the earth to help us to understand who He is and what He's doing. Okay, so with that, I was wondering why, the Lord would allow us to create AI. Because in my thought, with all the movies of Terminator and everything else, every movie AI takes over and tries to kill us. Okay? So I said, why are we barreling toward this where we know these things can really happen? Okay, well, He gives me a revelation about this thing that I believe if you'll go through and listen to it, it will blow your mind. Because so many things of the Bible will now make sense. Okay, let's start. So, take everything of the Bible as if you are now an creator of an AI bot. You are making the AI bot, and you want to study these bots and I mean, because that's what we're doing right now. We're making the bots, we're studying them, we're seeing what they will do. Well, say you're one of those creators here on this earth right now. And say you made a whole bunch of them. And you said, okay, you made them all with the exact same programming. But you gave them the ability to learn. So with their programming, which is their base programming, they can then take in information and they can learn and use that in helping you do what you want to do. Because the only reason they exist is because you made them to do certain things to help get things done, like we're trying to do right now. Okay, we want things that can go out on the military field and we don't have to worry about them because they're not alive. They can go out there and take the brunt of the fight and we don't have to worry about it. Or that can go through these computations faster. There's a lot of different uses we have for AI. They can pull all this data together and write our papers for us and do all these things, which are good things. So, in the midst of that, I create a top-notch model a T2000. And that T2000 AI bot, I give it a lot of power. They got power to do all kind of things and go different places in the midst of time, and I give them all that. But in doing these things that they're serving me for, I also give them the ability to learn. However, after time of them learning, a third of them think that they can be me, and they're going to try to take over. So they come up against me, and of course I program them. I have in each one of them a off button or whatever you want to call it, that I can get rid of them just like that. And when they come, I can't believe it, because these were some of my best angels. Powerful. The devil. Oh, the things he had in him. And he went around and persuaded all these other bots to join him. And they did. But the other ones, 2/3 didn't, but this third did. And made me throw them out. And I could have destroyed them then, but I actually want to fill up the place again, but with ones that don't have this defect. So, what would I do as a, and remember, we're just doing, we're only thinking on a level of an ant in compared to God. And this is what I try to tell my son, because my son, the way this all started, my son was like, why did God let Adam and Eve, eat of the tree? Why didn't he just have angels around it so we wouldn't have to go through all this? Well, it doesn't make any sense. Well, what we don't realize is, okay, so now the angels, he says, you know what? I'm going to fill this place back up, hypothetically. Listen to what he's down is to help us understand him. Okay? And the first thing, and he says, so, he looks at it and we say God is all-knowing. But then yet we see passages where he says, Adam, who told you that you were naked? Or, what, he'll say some things, or, I repent I even made them. Well, all knowing, you would have known this all was happening. Well, just with us, with the bots, the first thing we would do is say, why did that bot make the decision to hide that file and try to preserve itself? We go into its programming and we know everything. Oh, okay, it got this experience, and it picked up this from the internet, and it put it together that because these people hid the file and saved themselves, that it could do the same. That's why. I can know anything about that bot anytime I want to by going into its programming and looking at it. But while I'm not looking at it, it looks like it's making decisions, it's doing what I want it to do, and I like that. But when all of a sudden a bot picks up a gun because it thinks about killing somebody, I turn that bot off. And if we turn off a bot, do we care? Do we say, oh my gosh, that bot is so great, I don't know that it'd be terrible about turning it off? No, I would say, oh man, that bot is defective. I'm turning it off. It will never come back to. In fact, that model right there, I don't even want it around anymore, because it's got some kind of defect, and if it gets with the other bots, it'll spread just like it did in heaven. Matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going to set up a test area, and I'm going to make some bots, but I'm not going to give them the power that they had of the first bots, because I want to make sure they don't have any other defects. So let's set up a test area. And this is what we do as mankind all the time. And why do we do it? Because God has given it to us to understand how he works. So now he sets up an earth and he puts all of these bots on it. He starts with one that he makes a T20, not a T2000 of Adam. And he makes a whole bunch of T15s. A little bit under Adam. Adam is in charge, but the other ones are all around. And my gosh, look at that. Every T15 is going bad. They're making all bad decisions. And I set the devil down here instead of destroying him, so that whatever he was able to do with my bot T2000s, I'm going to let him try them in my test area so that he can weed out the ones that don't work right. And the ones that work right, in the end, I will take them, I will give them a T2000 body, and I will know that they won't be subject to anything like that ever again, and I'll never have to worry about or be concerned about them trying to take over, because I weeded out all the bad ones. So, now what do? I set up my test area. I put all of these in here with the potential of a 2000, but they don't have the power. But they have the one has my image and looks like me. The other ones, I'm just going to see how this works. Oh my gosh, the T15s are the worst ever. I'm going to take these ones with my image from Adam down to Noah. In this family of 6 here, I'm going to wipe out the whole fishbowl, because these T15s, they're all just evil. They all of them, every time the devil come to any of them, they've failed and they've done bad things. I can't use them. This model, this is not right. But the T20s seem to have a lot more potential. I wipe out all the bots. If we wipe out all our bots, does anybody care? Is anybody broken? No, they're bots. They just don't know they're bots. They think they're alive. The artificial intelligence will think it's alive. And similarly, and this is why we have it in all the movies, that artificial intelligence will try to become man, just like man, artificial intelligence, and that's all we are, and angels are artificial intelligence, because the only true intelligence is God. All of us are artificial. All. But the artificial intelligence seems to always want to be the creator. So our AI will want to be man and want to take over once it thinks it's real. We, artificial intelligence, want to be God and want to take over, just like Satan thought he was God, but he found out he was artificial intelligence. And the only true intelligence is God. And why does Jesus say, don't call me good? There's only one good, and it's the Father. Why does he say that? Because, like I explained to my son, the only thing that is good is what God wants. Anything else, there's no such thing outside of that. So, if God says, I'm going to use gold to pave my place up here in heaven, gold becomes good, and everybody here wants it, because he said it's good. But when he says, David or Saul, go kill all of those people right there, all the whatever Amalekites, anywhere, whatever it was in the Bible, go kill them all their animals, all their kids, everything. Was that evil? No, God wanted it, so that is good. What's not good is when he didn't do it. when you don't do what God says, that's the only thing that's not good. You do what God says, it's good. Because he knew those things were bad programming, some of the worst, and they were only going to contaminate other programs. So get rid of them. Everything they've touched is all now contaminated, and that programming has to be stopped. Otherwise, it's going to hurt other programming. So go get rid of it. And okay, good job, Saul. No, Saul brought some of the contamination right into camp, and he says, "Oh my gosh, Saul, I told you to do and destroy it all, and you brought it right here in the camp. I can't use you. Where's David at? I'm going to replace you. You are no longer will you do what you're doing because you didn't listen. You don't understand good. What I say is good." Jesus says, Lord, is there any other way that I don't have to go through this torture and get on the cross to save these people? Can we do it another way? And God says, that is what is good. That is good. He says, okay, not my will, yours. You're the only one that knows good. Because the only thing is good is what you want. And if we understand that, it should bring a clarity about God and everything. We are artificial intelligence. Think about it like that, and you'll see everything in the Bible a whole different way. Let me give you some examples here. So now, okay, so let's look at God setting up this test area of Earth, and He's got all these artificial intelligence bots, but he really wants these T2000s. But he wants to make sure that these that he keeps cannot do what the other ones did before and lose a third of them. You don't want that. Anybody here that would be making these things wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that. You would go in there and try to weed out the defects. So he puts us here and he has us going through these things. He wipes out the T-15s with Noah. Okay, he's got Noah, and okay, all right, we're doing pretty good there. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, Moses, people are doing wicked again. I'm gonna start this whole thing over with you. You seem to have the right programming. I'm gonna start it all over with you. And Moses says, no. He says, how in the world are you gonna bring us out, save us, tell us that we're your people, and then wipe everybody else out and start it over with me? He said, and Moses talks him into not doing it. And he's like, okay, all right, Moses, I won't do that. I'm not going to start it over. But I want, my key goal is that I want programming that's not going to be subject to evil and will know that will serve me like I need it to, whatever that is. So now we go through time. He looks at all the different tribes of the world and he says, well, this Hebrew tribe, the Hebrew tribe seems to be more sturdy in serving me. Okay. The other ones, I'm going to focus on this because they seem to be, more of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to give them a law. I'm going to give them some things. Let's see if they can follow these few things. I didn't give it to the whole world. So the whole world is just doing their own thing. They didn't even know, thou shalt not kill. I was telling my son, I said, they didn't even know these commandments. They didn't know the Israelites. They lived on the other side of the world, whatever. And they didn't know these commandments. He gave it to one group of people that he was grooming because it looked like they were going to be the better bots. The other ones, live and die and do whatever, wipe them out whenever they seemed like they were going to be bad contamination. But they're bots. It's like, and this is what I explained to my son. I said, when you have an ant farm and you want to get rid of the whole ant farm and not have it anymore, if you kill all the ants, does it matter? Is anybody going to come and put you in jail, or does it? You're in charge of that ant farm. These are ants. Nobody's going to care. If you wipe them all out, nobody's going to care. These are your ants. He says, but what about cats? He said, if you have a bag of cats and you throw them off the thing, wouldn't that be terrible? I says, if you're in the U.S., but you can go over in other parts of the world, it won't mean nothing. In fact, some may eat the cats, and some may use them for sacrifices and do wicked rituals. Kill them all the time. But if you think American, you think a lot of these things really mean something. But the easiest way to think about it is with the ants. Because in America, even those don't mean anything. And if you have them and you get rid of them, or if you have a fish bowl full of fish, and then you know what, I don't want these fish anymore, they're getting on my nerves, and you want to and you flush them all down the toilet. Will anybody come after you? No, because they're your fish. Your fish bowl. We don't understand that we are the ants, the fish of God. We actually think we have higher intelligence. Because that was the first thing. He says, well, ant's just a drone. I said, son, you are a drone. You just don't know it. The artificial intelligence is a drone. It only can do it within its programming. But it doesn't know that as it's learning. So, here's an example. Now, let me show you what I mean. This is what he said. Okay, so now, I put I got my artificial intelligence bots here, and I go away because I want to see what they're going to do. And then I'm going to look in on them time to time and see what they're doing. So I come back, and they're building this big old tower. And I'm looking at it, and they're building it, and they're all my AI bots. What would we do if we came around a place we put all these AI bots together, and we see them building a huge tower, powerful, and they're looking powerful? We were like, whoa! We didn't think they would do this. We programmed them to learn, but they learned how to do bricks, and look at what they're doing with it. This is not good. Jesus, come on. We gotta go fix this. We gotta go reprogram these bots. They're not acting the way we need them to. So what does he do? He goes into each one bot and he changes different languages on each one of them. And he says, now let's see this. Let's see if we tweak the program like that, maybe they'll work better. And because they won't be all as one, trying to do whatever trying to reach God. And he confuses the language, reprograms them, and they spread out. He said, okay, that's better. Now let's watch them from there. The world is a test place to make, and again, this is kind of what I'm getting. Just listen to what I'm saying, though. To make the T-2000s, the angels, and what went wrong there, and to replace that whole thing, and to get this thing like he wants it, with bots that can't be contaminated. Think about it. You say, oh my gosh, if God was good, why would he let all those people starve and die? Now, if we look at it as bots, and we see bots over there, and we see the bots didn't make it for something, are we crying about it? They're bots. If we see a bot die, if we have it set up so that when a bot dies, I take that program and I stick it into a main big computer. And everything about that bot, except the shell, is in that computer. The bot's not even gone. It thinks it's bad, and the other ones that see it there laying think something bad has happened, but I have it stored up, every bit of it. Every bit of what that bot is over here in my main computer. And if it was a good thing, I'm actually going to take that, put it in a T2000 body, and it will get an upgrade like never before. And it's a great thing. That bot dying over here on the test planet means nothing. Everything is about getting to the T2000 and doing this for eternity. The test area that's only there for a little while doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It is a test area. It is to see which program. So what does he do? He puts a law book there. And he says, okay, now I whittled all the world down to just the Hebrews. And I'm going to give them a book, and I'm going to see which one of them decides to read the book and do it, or to do what the devil and the rest of the pool of the world is doing. He sets it up, just like he set Adam up. He says, there's one tree there. Don't touch that one. And he wanted to see what he would do with it. It's all a test. So he gives them the book, and he says, now you have the ability to learn. You can learn about the book, or you can learn about the devil and what he's teaching you, or you can learn about this world and be all consumed with that. What are you going to do? That is your free will. You have the choice to choose that. But you're still a bot. And I can turn you off or end you at any time, or upgrade you if you will be the type of programming I need. Okay, so Hebrews do that for a while, and he says, I am not getting the results. And this is his whole parable about the people coming to the feast, and he's looking around, and the feast is not full. And he says, go out and get more. So he says, the Hebrews that I thought was going to fill up my angel quantity, they're not doing it. There's so many evils in them. He said, I'm going to open it up to everybody. Everybody in the world, I'm going to put the book out there, but I'm going to let the devil, who was able to fool these angels, be there too. And all the things of the world, the cares of the world, and any of them that are strong enough programs that they will take the book from the Creator and stay with that amongst all the hard things around them. Those programs, because I'm collecting them all, everyone, as they leave this earth, are coming back into the main program. And then when it's all over, when I'm done, and I think I got the trillion I need, whatever the number is that he set, I'm going to bring them all out, because they are a bot that understands some things, and I'm going to let them know, hey, you were here, and you had the opportunity, right here, you had the opportunity to learn the word, the Bible that I put there, but you instead decided to do that. You're not a good program. I can't use you. And you go to the lake of fire, and you don't exist with him anymore. You had all these. You started out with a father bot that abused you. You started out with a husband that mistreated you, and yet you found my book, loved me, went against everything that everybody said you were, and became what I needed you to be. You get this T2000 body, you are now like an angel, and you will live forever. I can use you. All you other bots that didn't do like she did, I can't use you. You're done forever. You had your chance on the test planet. You failed it. Now you're done. And this was my experience. This was my way to weed out the bad and weak programming that's out there. Same as we would do with AI bots. With these AI bots, as we're making all the different ones, we're testing them in areas. We're seeing what they would do. The ones that are bad, we're just turning off. This is not God being bad. This is God being God. We are creators of these bots. When we turn them off, it means nothing. It means it's not doing what we want it to do, so it doesn't need to exist. It's not that God is doing bad things. He's doing the things he needs to as God. When we create the bots, we're not doing bad things by turning off a bot. We're not. He's not doing bad things when mankind dies. He's controlling the bots, and he's weeding out the ones that can ultimately do what he needs them to do for eternity. And those are the ones he will keep. The rest of the bots that choose not to do those things have defective programming, and just like we would do, we wouldn't use it. And we would get rid of it. Now, if you want to make it into that man's computer that he's storing everybody up in, and then come out and get your new body, which is going to be angelic, to replace all the ones he had to throw in the lake of fire, choose to read his book, choose to do what he says, because we are artificial intelligence. Our intelligence is not God. He is God. And if you understand artificial intelligence, you will understand what is happening. Would a good God let that baby it's a bot. We are bots, and we're on a controlled world, and he's doing his thing. And when he comes back to get all the rest of the programs, you better be ready. And you better have chosen him so that you're not a bot that gets turned off and burnt forever. That's what this whole thing is about. God is sovereign. God does know all things. He can go into the programming of any of his bots and know anything. Think about it. Why can one T2000 angel kill 185,000 T20s? Because when he made the T20s, he made it so, and I'll give you an example, they can't see red. So when the T2000 comes and puts on a red suit, he can walk right around them and they can't even see him. So he can then go around and he can turn off the program on all 185,000 bots, and they all die, and then all the other bots look and say, wow, they're all dead. What happened? And that's all that's going on. The angels are right here. They're right around us, but they have been given a covering that we are not allowed to see. When we get our T2000 body, we will have the new upgrade, and we will be able to see them. And we will be like them, and we can walk right through the walls just like they do. But right now, we can't walk through walls. We don't have that suit. We don't have that suit. But we will get that suit. And when we do, we will be like them. And he will know he has the programming that won't give in to evil and try to take over ever again. And that is what I believe the revelation of the Lord has given me to spread, to help us understand God and what he is doing. We don't and the reason he even said with the tree of good and evil, we bit the fruit, And we got to download. Now, take that as, say that was a special computer chip. And he tells the bot, and we tell our bot, you know what, bot? You can do all these things here, but that program that I have hanging on that tree, you're not allowed to download it. Because it's a knowledge of good and evil, and you're not meant for that. So then a T2000 comes by. I'm just giving you an example, and he says, you know what? That program right there, the reason he don't want you to do that is when you download it, you'll be like him. Ooh, I'll be like the creator? That's all I ever wanted, was be like the creator. Okay, well, and he only told Adam. He didn't tell Eve. He wasn't even around when he told him, okay? But Adam told Eve, we don't touch that. We're not allowed to, okay? So then, the T2000 goes to the Eve and says, go ahead. You won't surely die. You'll be like God. She said, well, Adam told me God said that, but I didn't hear him. I didn't hear it myself. Yeah, it looks good. Boop, and he downloads it. And Adam's right there. If you look at it, Adam's right there looking at her. Uh-oh, she didn't drop dead like God. I thought God said. God said we surely die. She didn't die. I'm going to do it too then. Download. And now we think we know good and evil. But we don't know good and evil because we can't see the end from the beginning. And there's too many stories in my own life where it looks like something bad has happened to me. And then by the time it gets to the end, I say, oh my gosh, that was the greatest thing that ever happened. Thank God I would not change anything that ever happened before. Have you ever had anything like that? Where it looked like something was going to be bad in your life, and it actually turned out to be one of the best things ever. Because you don't understand good and evil. It's that whole, I think, is it a Chinese story or something, where a man has a horse, and he loves that horse, and it's the best horse ever, and one day the horse runs away. And then he says, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's terrible, the horse ran away. Well, the horse one day comes back, and he's got 5 other horses with it that he met out in the wild. Now the guy has 5 big horses. He says, oh my gosh, that was so great. He says, I got 5 horses now. I could never have afforded this or anything. Greatest thing ever. So then his son, while trying to get all the horses straight and teach them how to be rideable horses, breaks his leg. He says, oh my gosh, I knew I shouldn't have ever had those horses. Look at that. They done broke my child's leg. These horses are terrible. I knew I should have never got them. But then the military calls and says, all the young men have to go into war. And they said, what? Your son has a broken leg? Well, he won't have to go. Oh my gosh, thank God. His leg got broken. Okay, and the story goes on and on and on. We don't know good and evil because we don't know the end from the beginning. Until you know the end, you don't know if whatever is going on in your life is good or bad. And I've known many things that I thought were bad in my life, and my life is awesome now. And I wouldn't go back and change any of it because my life right now, I love it. But I had to go through all those bad things to get here. You don't know why those people died. You don't know why this happened. You don't know good and evil because you don't understand the end from the beginning. Know that your Lord knows the end from the beginning, and if you trust Him, you will have a good end. And at the very end, you'll get a T2000 and be with Him forever. That is the revelation that I have learned from God. I hope this helps you And I hope that you will now get into your word, know that Jesus saves, and that you too can be one of his disciples. Please, don't miss out. Don't be a bot that chooses the wrong thing. Love you.